Where can you find the best sand in the U.S.? Our dog Maggie believes she found it in Panama City Beach.
You're listening to Travel FOMO, a podcast for people self-diagnosed with wanderlust.
Welcome to the Travel FOMO podcast. My name is Hilarie Houghton, and I am here with my husband, Jamin, and our highest maintenance travel buddy is a guest here today, Maggie Moodle, the golden Doodle.
Always the demands.
Oh my goodness. She literally just makes traveling a lot more complicated, but a lot more fun. Questionable?
More complicated for sure. No, it is fun to travel with your pet, but I feel like it does complicate things an absurd amount.
Yes.
It doesn't sound like a big deal, just bring your dog with you.
Right.
But actually doing it you just have to think about everything through that lens.
A little bit differently.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And in today's episode, we will get into what it is like to do a dog-friendly day in Panama City Beach, which is a lot of fun. And some other things that we've done in Panama City Beach. Have really enjoyed the times that we've got to go there, and specifically our time during gap year.
Every time we've ever been to Panama City Beach, we've driven there.
Mm-hmm.
And this was no exception.
Right.
Typically, we're coming from Texas, but
from the West.
In this particular time, we're coming all the way from the Florida Keys.
Mm-hmm.
So if you listen to the last episode, which I hope you did, you know that we've been exploring the South. We've been down in Florida. We were in Miami, the Keys, and now we're headed back up. Also, if you are a frequent listener, you know that Hilarie left her keys in Miami a couple episodes ago. So
oh my gosh, not only did I leave them, but I left them outside in the grass at an RV resort somewhere in the grass.
Yeah, thankfully the RV resort was super nice, and they went to our site and found them for us and held on to us.
Yes.
And didn't mow them. But our time in the Keys was done. We picked up Hilarie's keys after we left the Keys, and made our way all the way through Florida up to Panama City, which, if you've ever wondered whether or not Florida's a big state, can confirm it is.
It is.
We arrived pretty late at night, despite having left really early in the morning, and we stayed 3 nights at Panama City RV Resort.
Yeah, great place.
Which we made an adjustment to our schedule, and so we kind of had to book it last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Got really lucky to find spots. Florida in any time of year, but especially when the weather is cold everywhere else, is really hard to book.
Yeah.
So if you are planning on going to Florida, book way in advance.
during
Because
the winter, especially.
Everyone thinks that's a good idea, and it is.
It is. It's brilliant.
But it was a great little park, had a nice pool across the street from the beach, but despite its proximity to the beach, was super quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And just chill and relax. There were trees at every site. The sites were nice, paver, blocks, bricks almost, paved sites. And so you didn't have to worry about the rain or any of that kind of stuff. It was just super nice. And sites like that, I feel like Florida, because they have people all year round, it just stays nice all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas other places, if you go in the off season, they might have part of their park shut down or this or that, but it's always a good time to RV in Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. The only drawback that we saw while we were there at that campsite really was the ants. And that was a real thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There were ants, and it was our first time really dealing with them. But apparently it's pretty common in warmer locations. And at that park specifically, it was not a surprise to them, I think, that there were ants.
And we would go on to deal with them a lot in the future. But this was the first time that we were like, okay, ants, what do we do now?
Right. I remember looking and being like, what is that? We were sitting in the Airstream, and I saw something on the floor, and I was like, what is that? And sure enough, it was this tiny little line that was moving. Mm-hmm. And it was these tiny little ants. And it kind of freaked me out at first. Well, it definitely freaked me out because I was like, I don't want anything in the Airstream. We'd already dealt with mice several months back. And I was just like, no.
Right. Well, and keep in mind, we don't leave food out.
We're very tidy.
So it's not like, oh, someone left a pizza on the counter and that's why we have ants.
Right. Even our trash can, we keep it a small trash can. It's always cleaned out.
Yeah. Yeah. So it wasn't a sanitary like neglect situation. It was just, there's a bunch of ants everywhere.
Right. And we were always moving. So it's like just the idea that anything would be able to get in, that would sit anywhere long enough that something could get in was kind of crazy. But I think it was actually Maggie's dog food that was kind of like the smell of it was bringing them in.
Yeah.
And so if I remember correctly, it was like her container and everything was like, we had her food in this was like super airtight container, but a couple pieces had fallen out of the container and they were like under, like inside the sofa area, because we had built this enclosed sofa with all the storage, and that's where her food was. And then you would go to scoop food out, and ever so often a little pebble of her food would fall, and it would fall somewhere that was super hard to get to. And those ants, they figured that out and they came and found it. I was like super proud because I was trying to find like an earthy solution and decided to put down peppermint oil. So I was really proud of that because it actually worked. But then long term, later on in Texas, like we kept going places and it was like, no, ants in the warmer places, like they're gonna, after a while, they just don't care. You can put all the peppermint oil you want in there and it's not gonna matter. Yeah. And we were really lucky though, because your sister, we finally mentioned it to your sister at some point. We were in College Station and she was like, oh yeah, ants are a thing in Texas. Like you should try liquid ant baits. And we put some out and it was like the best long-term solution, because these ants, they'll like come and they'll come to the bait and they'll get some and they'll take it back down into their actual homes, and it'll actually kill out the insects there in the homes rather than like you trying to just keep them out.
Yeah.
So it's like better than just like spraying all around your place or something. So
yes.
It worked.
And you don't have to sleep in a peppermint cocoon.
In a little Christmas
feeling like that
ornament.
You're Santa's dog in Santa's doghouse.
Oh, you kept saying that too. You're like, it's like I'm like inside a candy cane all night long.
But there's a ton of cool places in Panama City, other RV parks, and even if you're not an RVer, lots of really good options. We actually have gone back to Panama City since our gap year trip, and we went with Hilarie's family. We stayed in a really cool beach house right on the beach. So like we would walk out on this huge back porch, a trail that was our trail right onto the beach. It was super cool, great views. And like there's condos and places like that you can rent as well. I do recommend, if you can get a beach view, it is worth it.
Totally.
We've gone to the Florida Panhandle a bunch of times now for a bunch of different reasons and stayed at a bunch of different accommodations. And every time where there actually is an ocean view, it's sort of a game changer.
It totally is, because your whole experience the whole time is just it's enhanced because you get to see the ocean the entire time you're there.
Yeah, it's a constant reminder of what you came for. Really.
And what you paid for.
Yeah.
You paid to be there looking at the ocean, and you actually get to the whole time. So, I mean, I would also say, the house that we stayed in with my parents, absolutely loved it. My dad was it was his dream to get to take us kids to do something like that and have us all under one roof. And so we got to do that recently, and it was so great. And we just raised those blinds and looked out at that ocean the whole time. Like there was always a view of the ocean, and we loved it. And there's nothing quite like also having private access. Like your own little path by your own little feet that take you out to the beach, and nobody else is running down that path but you. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. I would say if you're on the fence about spending the extra money to get a place with the view of the water, spend the extra money.
Yeah. Or
stay a little bit further out or something where you can get that water view, because it is worth it.
Absolutely. Well, and rewind back to gap year and our time there, we were really discovering Panama City for the first time.
Yeah, we've never been.
Never been. One of the things that was really fun about it, and I think makes it a little different than some of the other Florida beach towns, is its Pier Park area.
Yeah.
It's so great. I mean, there's just a ton to do there. Lots of shopping. There's a movie theater. There's restaurants, different outdoor activities. There's like a train where your kids can like ride a little train that'll take them through the shopping area. There's bumper cars and a Ferris wheel. One of those trampolines that you can, kind of a bungee cord trampoline scenario that you could do, and just a lot of fun things. And we really, really enjoyed our time there. And that first time that we stopped by there, we had lunch at the back porch, and we were really looking for a bunch of dog friendly things we could do that day, because we wanted it to be a dog-friendly day in Panama City. And so Maggie came with us, and we sat outside on this patio with Maggie and had an excellent lunch. And then we were right across the street from the dog beach, which was perfect.
Yeah, it was crazy. We didn't even have to repark or anything. We were able to just walk over to the dog beach.
Yeah.
And Maggie loved the silky white sugar sand.
Yeah.
Because the sand there, if you've never been to the Florida Panhandle, the sand there really is amazing.
Yeah.
And just great. And she loved it so much. She would like run around. She ate some of the sand at one point.
That's true.
I don't know what that was all about. But we've got some great pictures of her with like sand on her nose, and she's just like happy with the ocean behind her. It was just a lot of fun. And that sand is actually like quartz crystals, which have been broken down over time and like washed up and bleached out, and so it's super white.
Yeah.
And the shoreline is just amazing there. It's some of the best beaches, the Florida Panhandle and down in St. Pete and those areas are the best beaches as far as sand goes in the U.S.
So pretty.
And the closest that you can get to something in my mind, like Caribbean.
Right.
In my mind, without getting on a plane.
Yeah. And it makes the water so gorgeous and blue. I mean, it is really, really pretty blue right there in Panama City. And the other thing about Panama City is it's like there's this city right there. It's literally a little bit more lively than a lot of other beach towns.
Yeah, it's more built up.
Yeah.
I will say you need to be careful about where you go to the beach. Some beaches are private, and if you're taking your dog like us, there are designated dog beaches. Mm-hmm. So you just want to be aware of that. You can't just take your dog anywhere. Also be aware that if you have a dog like ours, they won't want to get in the water.
So ironic.
I think like the sound of the waves is too much for Maggie, and she doesn't like, it's scary to her.
Yeah.
And because whenever you are on the beach, she wants to sit right next to you, sit really close. She loves it, and she loves being out there, but it's sort of it's an intimidating situation for her.
She's either going to sit on your feet or in between your legs.
Yeah. So if it's hot, then you're going to have a heated blanket. Like it's just like sitting on you the whole time if you take Maggie with you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and speaking of dogs, I keep hearing this little dog outside in our apartment complex, and it's like barking so hard. And that's not our Maggie, but our Maggie is here right now, and you are likely to hear her at some point during this episode. One of the other things that was super convenient about the location we were in is that we were right on the edge of the Panama City Beach Peninsula. And so our RV park was literally walkable to the St. Andrews State Park. Mm-hmm. And we weren't looking to go to a state park, but I will say the Florida state parks are pretty great.
They're nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And great places to camp from what I can tell.
They are. Like, we wanted to stay at some Florida state parks, but just couldn't get in. Yeah. They're in high demand.
Yeah, they are in such high demand. So note to self, that's a pretty good option. And this one is really cool because it's completely surrounded by the ocean on 3 sides of it. So you can imagine how much beach opportunity there is there. And we went and drove through and kind of looked at some of the sites and stuff like that. And it would be really fun to be that close to the water. Yeah. I think would be a really great option. Another one that really comes to mind though when we talk about this is the one near Pensacola Beach. There's that national park, and you can like camp there. And that's a really good one as well.
That would be a lot of fun.
Great access to the beach. But what do we see there? They have a gator lake there where there are supposedly alligators. We didn't see them. And we did see a deer really, really close up.
That's true. Which
was weird because I expected to see like alligators and swamp animals, and there's like a deer by our car. It was really funny. But we also went out to the pier, and it's of course, you've got these beautiful beaches. That was lovely. It really would be a great place to RV in, and we went more recently when we were with my family in Panama City. We went back to this state park and actually spent a little more time and enjoyed it a little bit more. And I will say, as a group, everyone really enjoyed going to the beach and gathering all of the seashells on the beach, which if you're into seashells, like, you'd be surprised. There are some beaches, I mean, honestly, Panama City Beach was just so pure, and I mean, there was no seashells hardly at all. But then once we actually went to the state park just around the corner, there was actually a ton of seashells, and they were gorgeous, and it was a lot of fun to like dig them up and like, find your favorite seashells. And so now I'm that girl with like in our guest bathroom with like a jar with seashells in it. That's me.
Yeah. The good news is we have a lifetime supply of seashells and never have to collect them ever again because we have a bucket of them in our guest bathroom.
That's funny. But yeah, my family really got a kick out of that. And then we also did some snorkeling in the little bay area there near the Jetty Beach, and saw several stingrays actually, which kind of freaks you out when you're not prepared for it. And all of a sudden you just realize that something is moving in front of you. And there was also, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just remembering there was a ton of jellyfish. And so we ended up you would see jellyfish like in front of your face, and nobody got stung, but I think it kind of started to make us go like, you know what, let's go over here. But the kids had such a good time, and I personally had such a good time snorkeling with the kids. It was just a ton of fun. And they're all so brave, all my nieces and nephews and stuff. So it was just really fun to get to be with them and get to see them see things for the first time. And so yeah, it's always, I think travel is amazing, and it's so fun with other people, to have like somebody to remember those stories together, and all that is such a good time. But one other thing about that state park, it's the St. Andrew State Park. One other thing about it is that they have a ferry that takes you out to Shell Island. Maybe there's some seashells out there. I'm just guessing. But we did not go out there either times because it was a little pricey. And I want to say it was like $20 a person.
Yeah, it's pricey. You do get to like ride in a boat. They say there's a chance that you see dolphins. And I think it is also a big time commitment.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So if you're going to spend the day in St. Andrew State Park, I think it makes sense to budget for and take the ferry, because you can take your lunch with you and things like that, and really spend the day. And both the times that we went, we were just never there for the day.
Yeah,
but it's still even worth going in, because I think it's like $7 a vehicle just to get into the park itself, which is crazy affordable for as nice a beach as it is and all that's there. It's just that ferry piece is a little expensive.
Yeah, a little bit, but good to know about. And if you've planned for it, it might be something in your budget to do. So
yeah. And I know that day we had to hurry out because we had to have lunch.
Well, actually, I know where you're going with this. Pineapple Willie's, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We went there at some point during our trip for sure. It was good.
Yeah, we had lunch at Pineapple Willie's, and it has it's a huge restaurant with several facets and faces to it. But one of them, it has a huge pier that goes out onto the beach, and they have tables set up where you can actually eat out on the pier, which was really cool. It's one of those like rough beachside Florida vacation, like people trap tourist trap kind of places. But if you know that's what you're getting, it's fun.
Yeah.
It has like alligator bites and like crazy cocktails and big glasses, and everything's a little obnoxious, but that stuff can be fun because it's so on the nose. And so if you know that's what you're going for, a place like that can be a really good time. And Pineapple Willie's like definitely delivers on that.
It's a good time. Yeah. And it's great for big groups. Again, we took my family, and was like, we got to try out Pineapple Willie's while we're there. And they accommodate big groups really easily. No big deal. A little bit of a wait, but not a big deal. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. It was super easy. Parking was the biggest challenge, but that was it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Well, and while we were there during gap year, it was Halloween. So we were like amping up we had plans to spend Halloween with your sister in College Station and her family. And we were going to go trick or treating with them. I think that year they were going to be, the Hocus Pocus ladies.
Oh, that's right.
Peyton and McKinley and one of their friends were all going to dress up like the three ladies from Hocus Pocus. So cute. Oh my gosh, that was so priceless. And I just needed some kind of costume. So I was like, we gotta go to Halloween Express, get me a costume. I think I ended up deciding I was gonna do something like a Day of the Dead, where all I had to do was buy some flowers and some makeup, and but I needed to get all glammed up for Halloween. So that was on the list of random things that we did in Panama City. And then we had another evening out that we wanted to go back to the pier.
Yeah, we really enjoyed Pier Park a lot, and went back. So we had milkshakes at the Yard Milkshake Bar. And one of the things that you'll notice that we kind of noticed there, and not a lot of people realize, is along the beach line, there are these orange lights, and you see that all the lights are this orange color, and they're super ugly. I think a lot of people are like, why?
Why would they do that?
Like, why would you make that choice? And why would everyone make that choice? Mm-hmm. And it's actually a regulation because turtles hatch there. And turtles hatch at night, and they look for the moonlight to guide them to the ocean. And so everyone puts these orange lights because they're a color that the turtles can't see and won't mistake for the moon. So when they hatch, they will go the right direction and go out into the ocean. And it's just another one of those things that just reminds you that you're at the beach.
Yeah.
And even at night when you're just going out for milkshakes, like, you're still at the beach in this beachy place that's different than a lot of the other places that you've been.
I thought that was so fascinating, and I love that you know that, because I think I was one of those people complaining about the color of the lights, and you explained to me why and the reasoning behind that. I just thought that was really cool, and I mean, it's such a big deal there that they even ask people to draw the shades at night, so that the turtles aren't confused by the lighting it from inside your home.
Yeah.
So at night. So I just thought that was like really fascinating. I love that you shared that. But then we were going to like do a movie and all kinds of stuff, but you ended up feeling a little under the weather, and our night out turned into a night in.
Yeah. Yeah. We were pretty tired. I didn't feel great at all. Like it kind of like hit me all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. Really between the time that we had milkshakes and we're going to go to the movie, like, we were having milkshakes. I'm like, man, I'm just not feeling great. And then before we bought tickets to the movie, I was like, I don't think I can do a movie. Like, which
is wild because the movie is like so effortless.
Right. Like, you're literally just sitting there. And it's one of my favorite things to do. I love watching movies and going to the movies. And so I think you could tell that I was really sick when I wasn't up for seeing a movie.
Right. I was like, Jamin doesn't want to go to a movie? Like, it's usually your idea. And yeah, that was like foreshadowing.
Yeah, we've got more to tell you. Season or episode 1 of the next season. We'll share more about where that all led us.
Exactly. But overall, Panama City, I mean, it was like, I mean, it's kind of your all-American beach vacation time city, you know. It was great. And I mean, I feel like it's more of a city than a town. It's got a lot to it. Like, it is walkable, but there is a lot to see. So if you want to go do all the things, you're going to have to drive around, but it's great. Honestly, it is like us going there that one time kind of it's what inspired us to like take the whole family, you know?
Yeah. And I think I feel like a lot of people know about Destin, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And of the Florida Panhandle, Destin is kind of right in the middle. And Destin and Rosemary Beach are the ones that everybody hears about and knows about and sees. But there's so much of the Florida Panhandle that's really great.
Yeah.
And so maybe like everything's booked up in Destin, you can't get there then, or maybe Destin's a little cost prohibitive for you, and you could kind of move further away from Destin on either side, and there's still really great beaches, really cool stuff to do, fun cities. And so like Panama City is an amazing option. It's really great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you guys, this episode wraps up our season called East in the Airstream.
Yep.
So check that box. We actually have a bonus episode that we are going to send out to you guys kind of to wrap up this year. We recently actually, so we're going to take a little step away from gap year and share some of a recent experience that we had in Siloam Springs, Arkansas at my Aunt Gwen's nest. She has this incredible Airbnb out in Siloam Springs. And so we took some time to go check it out and want to get to show you guys that. And so we'll talk a little bit about it in the next episode, and then we'll also show you a video from that. And so I'm really looking forward to that because it was a great time, and I'm so excited that we got to see her place. I'd been hearing about it for so long, and then finally got to see it. And I mean, this place is over 100 years old. It is several levels. It's really, really tucked away and feels so private. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it was really cool. So much fun to go see and get to stay there. Really excited to share with everybody about it.
In our bonus episode.
Yeah, it'll be a little bonus episode. We'll take a little break for the holidays.
Yeah.
And be back in January. So go out and go to YouTube, watch the companion video for this episode. You get to see a little bit of what we talked about with Panama City. Make sure that you're subscribed on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts so that you'll get that bonus episode. And then when we're back in January, when you're all the way east, there's only one thing to do, and that's head west.
That's right. We're going to go out in the middle of nowhere for a while.
So,
which it really starts to feel like it too.
Right. We have many episodes from the middle of nowhere that we will be sending your way in the new year.
Exactly. We go out to Marfa, Texas, Carlsbad Caverns, Joshua Tree. I mean, you're really out in the middle of nowhere in those places. Phoenix, Boulder City, Nevada, which nobody's ever told me about, and we loved.
Yeah, that was a great find.
I'm really excited about sharing that episode. Las Vegas. That was fun. We actually spent a Thanksgiving in Las Vegas and had our Thanksgiving dinner at the Wynn Buffet.
The world's best buffet.
That was fun. And then Grand Canyon, and then some more of Arizona with Sedona and Jerome, Arizona. I am so excited about so many of those places. It's all very deserty, which originally wasn't my jam, but now I really have an appreciation for all those places, and I'm just really excited to share those with everybody. So.
Yeah, it'll be fun to talk through. You can find us on all the social media places, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, as we mentioned, YouTube. If you want to connect with us, that's a great way to do it. You can leave a comment on our YouTube channels or DM us on one of our socials, and we would love to hear from you and just see what you're up to and let you know what's going on with us.
Yeah, you can also reach us by email at travelfomopodcast@gmail.com. And I swear we really do check it. So if you send us an email, drop us a line. If you've got a story to share, we'll be sure to share it with others. You can also drop us a voice memo, which is a lot of fun. Feel free to connect with us in any of those ways. And don't forget that life is short.
Wonder well.